When it comes to drawing and designing a character, there's an essential part of a design that is often overlooked. For characters, there are two aspects that you have to design for a character. The first and most obvious, the internal designs like the clothes, the face, and other small details. But for the second part of a design, it's often put on the back burner. And the second aspect is the external design, or the character silhouette. So for this video, we're going to be diving into silhouettes for a character design because, as I said before, it is often the part of a design that is overlooked. I'm going to be showing y'all how to make some good silhouettes, as well as 2 important strategies to using silhouettes effectively. If you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Janelle and I'm a concept artist, and I make art and character design related videos here on this channel. The first thing we have to go over is what exactly is a silhouette and how to draw one. A silhouette is a filled shape of a character or the outline of a character. It is often represented as a solid monotone shape or just a plain outline. It's pretty easy to draw a silhouette. You can either trace the outside of the subject or just fill in the shape. When it comes to making a silhouette from scratch though, I recommend just painting in solid shape. And that's just because it's easier than drawing an arbitrary line. And I'm pretty sure most of y'all already know how to block into shapes, so just do what you find the easiest. Now there are some do's and some don'ts when it comes to drawing a silhouette. Starting with the don'ts. Don't draw awkward tangents that are confusing. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm drawing this character's silhouette and I want the character to be carrying a sword on their back. If I draw an indication of the sword here, what do you think it looks like to someone who is just seeing your silhouette for the first time? A better way to show that the sword is on the back of this character would be to rotate the sword so that it's on the side of the character and not in between the legs and not making an awkward looking tangent in shape. Don't draw boring straight up and down silhouettes. They literally tell you nothing about a character. And this is typically what most people do for their character designs without even realizing it, myself included. So do your character design a favor and make it interesting. Unless of course you really just want a boring character silhouette, then all the power to ya. Now onto the do's of drawing a silhouette. So do draw an interesting silhouette. The key to making an interesting silhouette is to designate areas of rest versus areas of noise. So if you want to make a plain silhouette but also make it a little bit interesting, this is the tip for you. Okay, a simple way of rest versus noise is making one side of the design super simple while the other side has a lot more complexity, or you can have the bottom of the design very boring and the top more interesting. Another way to make an interesting silhouette is taking advantage of the negative space. For example, you could show the character has arms by putting their hands on their hip, or separating parts of the design by adding a space in between. Do draw readable silhouettes. You want to make sure that you can tell exactly what your silhouette is. The worst thing you can do is make a silhouette that is super confusing. If your friend has no idea what your silhouette is, you did a bad job, okay? So go back to the previous do's and don'ts and make sure you are doing things right. Before we get into the 2 strategies of making good silhouettes, please like this video if you are enjoying it so far. It lets me know that you enjoy this type of content so that I will make more. And it also helps push it out to more people that would want to see this stuff. So now I'll be showing y'all the 2 important strategies to using silhouettes effectively. The first, starting a design, and the second, character differentiation and expression. Starting with the first one. Silhouettes are a great way to start a brand new character design. I already made a video on this where I go into details of how I start a character design with silhouettes and sketches. But there are some things that I did not mention in that video that I think would be important to discuss about silhouettes in this one. The first thing is that silhouettes are a great way to explore ideas if you have no idea where to start. And that's because they are quick to do and you can get a basic idea down with just a simple silhouette and you don't have to worry about all the details. It's all about the feeling of a character as a whole. This beginning part of designing is called blue sky, and silhouettes are a great place to start. Now, I have to warn you that overusing silhouettes can be very bad, because they can just end up being a time waster rather than a time saver. There are two questions you need to ask yourself before deciding if using silhouettes is the right direction for your character design. Do I already know what kind of design idea I want to make? And is there a somewhat clear direction I want to go in? If you answered yes to both, then you definitely do not need to make silhouettes for your character design. Instead, I recommend doing a first is worst is sketch to show the direction you want your character to go towards, rather than doing a crap ton of silhouettes that are pretty much all the same. But if you answered no to both questions, then silhouettes might be a great place to start. And there is an effective way to explore ideas for your character design with silhouettes. You want to first start with a wide variety of different silhouettes and make sure they are completely different from each other. Next, you're gonna pick your favorite or two favorites out of all your silhouettes and make more silhouettes going into more of that direction of the silhouettes you just picked. And finally, you're gonna pick out your favorite out of the last batch of silhouettes and then draw your first is worst is sketch. I recommend only doing 2 rounds of silhouettes, and that's just because if you keep going on and on making silhouettes, you aren't gonna move on to a finished design anytime soon. And with the more options you have, it's harder to figure out what exactly you want. And you, as an artist, needs finished designs because no one wants an incomplete design or an indecisive designer. So less is more and design with intentions. The second strategy to use silhouettes effectively is character differentiation and expression. Now, this strategy can be used at the beginning or middle of your character design because now you're thinking about the overall design and how it fits in with this character and their design elements. Silhouettes are important to show the difference between different characters. For example, I have this old character design project called Space Pirates, and when I line them all up together, they all look like they exist in the same world, and yet they look super different from each other. The difference is that each of the character silhouettes are unique from each other, and you can easily tell the characters apart just from their silhouettes. If your character silhouettes in the lineup look very similar to each other, you did a bad job. Go back and make each character look different. You will thank me. You can also differentiate between characters using shapes, a round character versus a square character versus a triangle character. And shapes can tell you a lot about a character too. A round character comes across as warm and friendly, while a square character appears more sturdy and strong. And a triangle character comes across as intimidating. If you look at the shape language from Aladdin, you can see the differences between each character and how their personalities relate to their shape. The same thing can be said with complex and simple silhouettes. The more simple, the more relatable and approachable. The more complex, the more intrigue and quirkiness of a character. And you can also add shape language to both the interior and exterior part of the design to further empathize who this character is. You can do this by making a relatable soft character with lots of round edges, or making a villain type character with pointy edges and jagged lines. When it comes down to it, you really gotta think about the character silhouette like it's the package holding the whole design together. If the package doesn't fit properly, like if it's the wrong size or the wrong shape, that can really put a hindrance on how your design is delivered. You want the interior and the exterior part of your character design to complement each other and affirm the viewer of who this character is. Now, to understand how to design the interior of a character to match the silhouette, watch this next video where I go into exploring the interior part of a character design using iterations. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you enjoyed and what character design topics would you like me to make a video on next. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video.